Now that you've taught for several years in a public institution, what do you think are the main differences between Waldorf and regular or typical education in?
Well, I think the biggest difference that I notice is what the purpose of the education is. So the stated purpose for the Waldorf school is to create free human beings. So people who will grow up who are able to think for themselves and be free human beings and as fully developed as they can possibly be. And I think that the purpose of the public school is to create working members of our society who will help contribute to the status quo of our society. And in the Waldorf school, there's more of a vision of the transformation and the evolution of humankind. So it's a more lofty goal.
And how did that affect the curriculum decisions in Waldorf?
So the curriculum decisions are really basically already made in the Waldorf school. I think your group has studied a little bit about anthroposophy and Rudolf Steiner and the underpinnings of Waldorf education and how the curriculum is based on the development of human consciousness as it's reflected in the developing child. And so in the younger years, the child is still more in a dream world and likes to hear stories. And so the teacher will get up and tell stories, and then the child tells the story back the next day. And the teacher may tell that story using vocabulary that the child really has never heard before, but you'll be surprised to find that that little one is able to say back a lot of that vocabulary because it's part of the story and it's entered into their imagination. So the imagination is also really an important part.
What do you think are the major advantages to a Waldorf education?
My observation of my own two sons, so they were both in the Waldorf school for the same number of years. Is that right? Yes. Anyway, yeah, 8 or 9 years, both of them. And although they were highly critical of having been raised in a Waldorf school, because they claimed that it separated them from society, it made them different, it made them feel different. My observation of my sons is that they are very literate. They love to read. They love to learn. They are lifelong learners. They don't care what other people think. But they do care about their society. They want to make the world a better place. Even though anthroposophy is basically a kind of it's kind of like a form of esoteric Christianity. And even though my sons claim to be atheistic themselves, I see that they are both very deeply spiritual beings, and I think that Waldorf education was really a success for my sons, and that they are free human beings, and I think they will do great things for the world. So I think that there are some liabilities of Waldorf education. I think that when you have a private school, there are going to be troubles. The school that I helped to found, it no longer exists because typically in a private school you need to have families that are able to pay. And I was in a Waldorf school in Wisconsin where there just wasn't the population base that could afford that kind of an education. And so they tried to make the education available to any family that wanted it for their children. And there wasn't enough money, it wasn't possible to sustain the school that way. So that's just one of the downsides of any kind of private initiative, is that it's just hard to maintain it.